going on, buddy?
Hey, not much. Yourself?
Good
How
to
you
see
been?
you. Good, good. How are you, man?
Not bad.
What'd you do last night?
Oh, I watched The Ultimate Fighter. What'd you do?
Well, same here. What are the
Yeah,
what are the
awesome. That was good, eh?
So what'd you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. I loved Diego. Oh, I thought he'll take the whole thing, the whole show.
Really, eh?
Oh, yeah. I like the other guy, too. Oh, what's his name? Is it Dennis?
Diego.
He's gonna fight?
Oh, he's playing yeah, Dennis Bermudez.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like the Dennis. I like the wrestler. I always like the wrestler.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I wrestled lots, and I love the wrestlers, but I think Diego will take it.
Well,
He's a great fighter.
I know for the
I think he needs it, though. From Brazil, and he wants to help all his family.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
the cause.
Yeah, that's.
But I don't like his attitude. Like he's Mr. Hotshot and calls out Dennis there.
Yeah, he was a bit aggressive, but that's fine. You know, it creates for a good drama on the show, right?
Yeah, it does. But
Yeah.
I think people go to the extreme, and then
Yeah.
it makes him look like an ass.
So I know the final card is John Dodson versus T.J. Dillashaw. Then we got Diego Brandao versus Dennis Bermudez. Eve Edwards is back. I'm glad to see him back. Eve Edwards
Yeah,
versus Tony
awesome.
Ferguson. I don't really know much about Tony Ferguson.
It's a good fighter.
And obviously the main event, going to be 5 rounds. What do you guys think about that, the 5-round thing? I was really leery at first. What do you think,
I
Ray?
like the 5 rounds. As long as the whole, not all the fighters, like not all the fights are 5 rounders, but the main card, that's what you're there to see.
Yeah.
And 3 rounds, 3 rounds go by fast.
Yeah.
And then you don't know who win. If it goes to decision or you get a bad decision, I think 5 rounds is good. And if a fighter gets tired,
Yeah.
that's what you
With
gotta
that
do.
recent fight with Dan Henderson, awesome. I'm glad it went 5 rounds. One of the best fights in MMA history, really. Definitely top 10.
One with Dan Henderson.
Yeah, Dan Henderson.
Who did he fight?
He fought Shogun. Dan Henderson versus Shogun. Remember, it went all 5 rounds.
yes, 5 rounds, yes.
Yeah.
That was a good battle. Back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That
They
was
both
pretty
had
good.
each other knocked out, you know, at different
Yeah.
points in the fight.
I thought Dan Henderson had it right at the first round,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Shogun came back.
So I'm
and
glad Dan Henderson is back. I'm a huge fan of Dan Henderson.
Oh, I love the wrestlers all the way. But
Former wrestler.
Dan Henderson, I thought, was almost done at the end, but Shogun just couldn't finish him. But Shogun trying. Dan Henderson hung in there.
So if every main event could go like that, that'd be fantastic. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Jason Mayhem Miller versus Michael Bisping. I'm a huge fan of Bisping, but I'm a slightly bigger fan of Jason Mayhem Miller. So let's start from the bottom. We'll work our way up. John Dodson versus T.J. Dillashaw.
See, I take TJ.
You take T.J.?
I like TJ. I like the way he's fighting. He has good wrestling. And Johnson. Oh, Johnson's a firecracker. A little short guy.
Yeah.
He's like a firecracker.
The short, stocky, you know, he kind of impressed me a little more, so I think John Dodson's going to take it.
I say TJ.
Okay, what about, next one is Diego Brandao
Diego.
versus Dennis Bermudez.
Diego.
Yeah.
I would love to take Dennis because he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
But Diego just, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He just proved, he was good.
I agree with
And
Diego.
all his fights are just, he ends his fights. There's no
Yeah.
contest. It's just, he ends them.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And I would take Eve
There's-
Edwards. I'd take Eve Edwards.
Yeah, Eve Edwards. My money's on Eve Edwards. Glad to see he's back. I don't really know much about Tony Ferguson. I've only seen one of his fights, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't put money on this fight because, you know, Tony could be a
either
killer and I just don't know. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, just
Wait,
for that
guys.
of it, I'll say Eve Edwards.
I'd take Eve too.
Jason Miller versus Michael Bisping. What do you think about that?
See, I'm a good fan of both of them. I'm more of a fan of Jason Miller's, but I think Mike Bisping will win.
Really?
Yeah, I like Jason. I hope Jason would win, but I think
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Michael Bisping is really good for following a game plan.
He does.
He's
He
very
follows it.
structured.
he follows a good game plan, and he's a fighter. He'll jab and then step back, and then kick and step back. He won't just go in there and brawl.
I like the
that's
craziness of Mayhem Miller. You know,
Yeah,
he brings a lot of hype to the fight. Good
like
on
his-
you, mate.
I like his personality too.
Yeah,
he's
great
happy.
personality. He's very sporadic. He's very off the cuff when he fights. You know, just like his personality. So.
Yeah, where he took the bike in the. He was
Oh yeah, he was
a
driving
bike,
his bike through the show there.
mansion
Yeah, yeah.
jumping in the pool, and then at the end, Bisping is melting off. He says, "Oh, you'll need a narrator for this."
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was cool. That's,
The hardcore fans, they know who Jason Miller is. You know, he was around years ago. He was one of GSP's first fights in the UFC. So yeah, Miller's been around for years. In
I
case you
love
guys
this-
don't know.
I'd love to see Miller and Nate Diaz,
Yeah, Nick or Nate?
the older brother.
Yeah, Nick.
Nick.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a feud on Strikeforce.
Yeah.
And
so
it
that'd
was
be
a
cool.
real feud.
I think it's definitely gonna come to that at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
But they're in different weight classes now, though, eh? Wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Yeah.
Weight class higher.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that fight. But
Yeah. You know, they could come down.
Oh, yeah.
And meet somewhere. So.
That sounds good.
So we're done with that. A little bit of MMA news. Cael Sonnen is back in the news. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah, where he insults that ring girl there?
Yeah,
What's her name?
Ariane Celeste.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
I don't know how you can insult.
What was it? A week or two
that.
ago, he was on Off the Record with Michael
Oh,
Landsberg.
yeah. That was stupid. He just walks like,
He was kind of giving him a hard time. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I thought, I'm a huge fan of Michael Landsberg. I've been watching his show for years.
You're coming on the show, and you said all this stuff, so he asks you about this stuff, then you get mad. Well, why would you say this stuff at first, and then get mad when someone asks you questions about it?
He's kind of changed his mentality, it seems, a little bit. Maybe he's going to, wanting to be the bad guy now. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's just gone to extreme, like insulting the ring girl.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with hyping your fight? I can see fighters like to hype their fight so we could go and watch them, but hyping your fight over a ring girl.
Yeah, I don't get that. 'Cause
I
you're not
say
fighting
he
her.
asked her out and she friggin' denied.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
And so he has to come like a macho
Sorry,
man.
Cael, you can't be hitting on the ring girls anymore.
Yeah, macho man and go and try to get her back, but
yeah,
I say she'll have the last laugh. And if he's like keeps doing this, and
yeah,
I don't know how many more people pay attention to his stuff.
Last but not least, Chris Lieben. Did you hear about what happened to him?
With the drugs there, drug test.
So Chris Lieben was suspended for 1 year for oxycodone. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce it correctly. And oxymorphone. Just prescription painkillers.
Yeah.
I don't know much about
I
that
wonder-
stuff personally.
I wonder if you can't fight on it, but you can be on it for like as you're healing. I wonder if he's
Maybe
actually,
he was on it while he was fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know
he's
the
abusing
details.
it. Maybe he's abusing it, and he doesn't have a prescription for it. Maybe so that's why they kicked him out. They gave him a year suspension. They didn't kick him out, but a year suspension, you get real ring rust. I like Chris Lieben. I like his style of fighting.
Yeah.
Puts his head down like a bull and just goes at it, and made heads roll.
Yeah. Okay, buddy, I gotta go.
All right,
It's good
take it
chatting
easy.
with you, buddy.
Take it easy next
Tune
time.
in next week while we talk about the next MMA event, and make sure to subscribe.
Yeah, and go Saturday, UFC, the finale.
That's right.
We'll talk about that, the results, and see if any of us was right, and maybe we'll have a bet, and we'll show who won.
Okay.
All right, take it easy.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.